Hey guys, Wolvie here and welcome back to the channel. The usual disclaimer as always. Any opinion here is mine and mine alone. And before I get into the true meat and potatoes of this video, it is a video log and I will have a link in the description below. It will be tied to a product that I'm going to be mentioning at some point. I'll let you know when I exactly bring that up. And for the record, this is a wide variety of things, meaning that it involves both of my streaming areas, the one in my living room being the main one, the backup being my bedroom. The driver's build, I do have a bit of an update on that. And I'm also going to be bringing up a build that I'm doing for a different person. She knows who she is. So let's just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Now, this right here, as you see, like in this particular section, is that this is going to be part one of what I still need to do for both of my streaming area setups. Now, I'm going to start here with this part for the Nintendo Switch. This came with the Nintendo Switch OLED that I bought off a reseller. And by the way, my OLED Switch, it works like an absolute charm. So for this one right here, and I have this usually in my bedroom. So what I definitely need to do for sure is to get 2 more Joy-Cons controllers for this. Now, it will depend on which, what pairing I get it set to the colors. If it's going to be the same color or 2 different colors. If it's the same color, I might, leave it alone in the sense of how do I want to say this? No covering on that, or however you want it. No skin color, no vinyl skin cover or whatever. So if it's the same color, I probably will leave it alone in that regard. If it's 2 white or 2 gray Joy-Cons, I'll just leave it at that. I'll probably add the thumb things, that gives my thumbs for more comfort. But if it is 2 different colors, I might, put something over it, just make it more uniform. So that's that on that. So I do need to get while I do need to get 2 Joy-Con controllers for this aspect of my Switch, I just don't know if it's going to be the same colors or 2 different colors, which will depend on my next course of action from there. Regarding both of these controllers right here, these are my spare controllers for the 2 Xbox Series S consoles that I own. Yes, I own 2. I won one of them in a giveaway. The other one I bought from a reseller, Mercari, for about $300 United States. And for the record, if I mention currency from here on out in this video and any future video, just know that it is United States currency, because that is where I live. So regarding these 2 Xbox Series S controllers, I will be putting some vinyl skin cover on it. I simply do not know anything else beyond that in the sense of color, theme, etc., etc. Now, what I do have here, though, is the Xbox 360S controller. And yes, I own one of these. It's in my bedroom. Now, what I did before filming this video, believe it or not, I actually cleaned it up a good deal. So it looks a little bit cleaner, and I'm really proud of myself for cleaning it as good as I could. Now, I honestly do not know if I'm going to be doing any format of vinyl skin cover for this one yet. And the reason why I say I honestly don't know, because a part of me wants to keep it as is because it's black. And a part of me wants to, cover it up, with something really cool that makes it more me again. But like I said, I honestly don't have a clue at this point. And for the record, before I go any further, this is merely part 1 of both streaming area setups. And for the record, in that regard, I am nowhere near done with either one, because both of them are missing major items, if that makes any sense. So that's that on that for part 1. So this next chapter here is a minor update to the driver's build, and I actually brought something out that I was thinking of having, at the beginning of the video, but I'm like, okay, let me hold off on it on that until now. So, from the last video, which was on the driver's build, I had a case badge sticker right around where my finger is. Now, I actually was able to move it over here. Now, the way I pulled this off, and I do have to say this right now, do not try what I just did at home, folks. And to be more specific for this Microsoft Windows logo badge sticker, when I got it, it's really flimsy and it doesn't stick. So what I had to do in order to force it to stick is to put Gorilla Glue on the adhesive side of the badge sticker. Yes, that's what I actually did. Now, the reason why I say to not try that at home, because Gorilla Glue, which is a bit stronger than regular crazy glue in my opinion, is that it really does stick. So I actually moved the Microsoft Windows logo sticker from where my fingers are to over there, and then believe it or not, this right here where I'm pointing at here, that is the Asus Republic of Gamers badge sticker. That actually came in the mail a couple of days ago, so I'm waiting for one more sticker at the moment, and that's the GeoForce RTX sticker. It's a very small. I do have plans to put it right over where my index finger is pointing at. So once I get there, I want to do some format of file preparation. So before I can test it, make sure it powers on, all that good stuff. Now, with that bit aside, though, I do plan on dusting it up somewhat so that way it looks clean, all that good stuff. And then for the plastic here, I'm not going to do the plastic here because this is for the driver. I want him to do it when he gets his hands on this particular build. That way he can do the custom peel, all that good stuff. Now, one other thing I do need to get the driver, and in a way it is tied to the controllers, is this guy right over here. And I will have a link in the description below from Amazon tied to this very item. What this is, it's a USB drive of sorts. Now you connect this to a computer in case you want to use a PlayStation controller, a Xbox controller, Nintendo controller on your computer. This is what it does. You need to install the drivers for this in advance, so that way you can play varying games with a controller instead of computer and mouse. On Amazon, this does go for around 20 United States dollars, so it is a really good deal in my personal opinion, especially if you have the means to financially buy it. Now I'm going to go into the other build that I was kind of hinting at towards the beginning of the video. This is actually for a buddy of mine. She knows who she is. Now you're going to be seeing here not one but two motherboards. Now this is the X570 and that's a B550. Now for the buddy's build, she is going to be getting the motherboard that my fingers are touching, and that is the Asus ROG Strix B550. This is a gaming motherboard with installed Wi-Fi, so that's on that. And then this particular one here, I was originally going to put this one in her build. This is the ROG Crosshair 8 Hero. Now, the biggest issue with the reason why I'm not putting this one in her build is, and this may or may not be too surprising, so with the Crosshair motherboard, I actually bought this used. I really do need to do some testing on this to make sure once the day comes, everything's all situated in the sense of it's fully functioning, then I can send this one out to her. But until then, I do need to put some tests on the Crosshair 8 motherboard, because again, I bought this used. I actually had to replace and upgrade some stuff. To be more specific with the Hero motherboard, I actually had to purchase M.2 screw kit, a screw kit that's M.2 for the NVMe. I also had to replace the thermal pads for the motherboard and to be more specific, the NVMe slots. I also replaced the CMOS battery, so it's like I want to make sure everything like that I replace is in perfect working order. Now, I also have to check one other compartment on the motherboard to make sure it's working okay, because something tells me that I may have a slightly, it may be used, but it may have some damage where it's like, is it really worth me trying to send something out that's used? So, like I said, I did let the buddy know she is going to get a B550 motherboard instead. This is a ATX. And I already have some plans and changing some stuff around because I had to do a motherboard swap. Unfortunately, these both are fully paid for. Now, the chases right here, this is the Fantex Eclipse P360A. Now, I'm going to be switching out the fans that are in here, including the fans to the CPU cooler. Now, I have in here Fantex chases fans. I will be replacing those with the Lee Uni SL family fans, and I'm leaning towards 280 at the front and 120 in the back. I'm going to have that on black. Now, for the fans that came with the cooler, and the cooler is the X53 Kraken by NZXT, I'm going to be replacing just the fans with Lee to make it like the fans far more uniform. And that way, I don't have to worry about the number of RGB controller hubs, if that makes any sense. That way, I can have everything onto one RGB hub, and I will be very happy with that. Saves me some time on cable managing and on the overall build. Now, I'm going to go back to the driver's build briefly, because I do have the box here. Is that once the build is like fully functional, it posts all that stuff, I will be putting in the box. I do have to contact the driver to see if he's willing to come over to where I live to pick it up, or do I have to bring it with me to work. Now, regarding my main streaming area setup, like I said, I am nowhere near finished. And part of the thing I had to focus on, not too much, but a little bit, nevertheless, is the fettuccine alfredo underneath the desk, aka the cables. Now, it's not as bad as I feared. However, I do want to spend a little bit more time getting the cable management under control, so where I can quote-unquote sandy-proof it, if that makes any sense. Make sure it looks a little bit more clean. I don't have to worry about tripping over cords. Now, so you're probably going to be wondering, what do you mean by sandy-proofing the cable management? And this is the answer to that question. 7-year-old orange tabby who goes by the name of Sandy. He likes his cables. He's cute, but don't let that cuteness fool you. And by that, he likes to chew on cords and cables because he thinks they're toys when they're not. So yeah, to do a bit of a recap, on the main streaming area, I do have to, make sure the cords and cables are ones where he can't get his teeth on by any means. Now, outside of that, the cabling that's underneath here, that's not the only thing I need to work on in the sense of getting the main streaming area here up to snuff. I still need a few items, one of them being a portable monitor, another being a camera that could have right around here where my hands in that general direction. And as well as a stream deck, I'm probably gonna go for a regular or the XL. So it's one of those things I really do need to focus some of the financial energy on, hopefully early next year. So that way I don't have to worry about delaying everything further than I already have. And that's just the main streaming area. Now, this is despite the I did a little proofing, I'm going to point to the general direction, so there's some stuff right underneath the desk. I did, get the cables, to be more harder to spot. Now, I'm going to zoom in real quick. Now, so don't regard the fettuccine alfredo, but it's more so let me let me zoom out a little bit. So it's going to be the cables. That's going to be like the USB hub right there. I will need to buy a second one for Raiden. So that way, it's like if I do ever so choose, I could put like those USB like that stuff onto the other hub and just hook it up to Raiden. That saves me a little bit of time. Now, I do have a USB, like I really can't show it too well even at this angle. But I do have a USB thing that's tied to the computer mouse. That's the only thing I have a singular of for this main streaming area. Now, I'm going to have to test something out really quick, and that's putting the USB hub for the mouse at the back of the build. And I'm going to see if that helps. That it has like the mouse still works from that direction. If it does, I'm going to move it back over there so I can get the USB hub at the front. If it doesn't work, I'm going to have to figure something out so I can get the second hub, like for this, and also be able to maneuver the computer mouse at the same time. Now for this right here, this is the hold on a second. Okay, so I actually had to get some stuff off the desk here. So there are some surprising amount of items I do need still for this backup area. Now I would say the main two, but the main one would actually two main items. So it's not one but two. So one of them would be a Stream Deck Mini, meaning that it's like a smaller version of the regular size of Stream Deck. And then another thing I'm probably going to be, I wouldn't say probably, I definitely will need, is without a doubt, it's like a camera so I can record sort of thing, because I don't have to rely on my webcam that much. Or as much as I normally would be. Now, fortunately for me, I do have something that's, in the sense, that's in my favor already. And you probably won't be able to see it, but I do have a USB hub like towards the back of that desk and below, so that way I can plug certain things into that, and I don't have to worry too much. So that's on that. I'm gonna focus a little bit on the computer mouse that's in my room right now. I thought I hit stop real quick. I'm glad I didn't. So the reason why I'm going to be focusing on this mouse here is that I will be, believe it or not, I wouldn't say I will be, but I more than likely will be replacing the computer mouse, because I am expecting a wireless mouse to come via UPS tomorrow. Now, before I replace this, is that I do need to make sure that the computer mouse that I'm getting, and again, it's a vertical and wireless, I make sure that not only does it charge, but it's also in 100% working order. I'm getting it from somebody I follow on Twitter, and I want to make sure it's charging and it's in complete working order before I even remotely use it. So with this particular keyboard, I will be taking this to the living room, and then the one that's currently in the living room where my workstation is, I am more than likely going to get rid of it. So that way, I can, I could make sure that this, the backup streaming area has a smaller number of wires. And the reason why I do need a smaller number of wires is, again, I need to sandy-proof, the backup streaming area. Right here, I do need to work a little bit on the cable management, but it's not as bad as the one in the living room. And, I do need to get I more than likely will need to get, it's HDMI splitter. And that way I can, help connect it to my HDMI matrix. It's right below the capture card. And if anybody wants to do content creation, needs a capture card, I will put the one that's in here in the description below. So that way you guys can check it out on your own time. So to do a bit of a recap here, like I said, this is likely going to be a longer video. I do need to get a lot of things, something kind of small, like, the HDMI splitter for the matrix, HDMI matrix. I do need to grab another USB hub for the main streaming area. I also need to get a couple of cameras, as well as 2 stream decks, 1 mini, 1 regular size. I do need to work on some degree of cable managing. There's a lot of stuff that I could put in this video, so on and so forth. But I simply do not want to take too much time, that sort of thing. So, again, this may take me into decent, maybe to summer 2023 when I get everything done the way I want it. It could be later than that. It's going to depend on varying aspects of my life, as well as finances. So, that's it on that. Before I sign off, like I said, I will have the link for the capture card that's in my bedroom in the description below. I will have the USB thing for the control, the USB that I mentioned earlier, the 8-bit do, that one in the description below as well. So that way, if you guys want to buy it on your own time, you're more than welcome to. So that's that on that. With Wolvie here, signing off. I will catch you all on the flip side.